engineering space for capstone projects and large engineering projects last year. And finally, the new building for the Sprott School of Business, which is absolutely spectacular and great news for our business students, with much more to come. So there's a big lineup of speakers today. I don't want to take too much of your time. A lot of people will give you advice today. I'll give you two little pieces very, very quickly. One, take advantage of the fact that you're new to ask all the questions that you have. Hey, I'm new, so, and then people will be very generous in responding and answering all your questions. Asking questions is the big secret to life. In fact, that's what graduate studies is all about, is asking questions and then trying to answer them. Even more importantly, please everybody, enjoy every single day of your university journey. A graduate degree, and I'm privileged to have a few, it's an incredible journey of learning and discovery, including self-discovery. Every day is an intellectual and, from my viewpoint, a spiritual adventure as well. So you'll learn a lot in your program and in your research, but you'll also learn how to always challenge what's possible and how to interact with the world with resilience and with purpose and hopefully with a sense of gratitude. So enjoy every single day of it. I wish you all the luck and all the best as you tackle this new challenge. So I hope you're excited about today. I'm excited for you. I wish I could do it all over again. These were the best years. I want to thank you all for choosing Carleton. I want to wish you all a great day and a great year. I think that's the ring that tells me I'm done. Merci beaucoup. Thank you. Take care. I'll see you around campus.
Thank you, Benoit. Always a pleasure to listen to you speak. Always so inspirational. And welcome, everybody. So awesome to see the campus buzzing with students, and it feels alive again. I missed having students on campus over the last little while. So I'll introduce myself. I'm Patrice Smith. I'm the Dean of Graduate Studies here at Carleton, formerly known as the Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Affairs. So what that means is that we're here to support you as graduate students, but we also take care of postdoctoral fellows as well. So welcome to Carleton, as Benoit said. Smart choice in choosing Carleton. Happy to have you here, and so grateful that you've decided to join us in our Carleton community. We have, as Benoit indicated, around 31,000 students on campus. We're expecting quite a significant number of those people on campus. As I said, we've been seeing quite a few of them buzzing around today and a bit of last week. We have about 177,000 alumni that have graduated from Carleton. So you're joining a very impressive group of people, with Carleton reaching its 80th year of its establishment. So this is an important year for Carleton. We're 80 years old, and so lots of people on campus, and again, very supportive community. I made the right decision in joining Carleton, and I think you have made the right decision as well in terms of coming here as a graduate student. So you'll be introduced today. Myself, as I said, I'm the Dean of Graduate Studies, but you also have deans in your individual faculty. So each of your departments are part of a faculty within the institution, but you're also part of the Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Affairs. We are specifically dedicated to supporting you as graduate students. So if you have a question, if there's anything that you need throughout your journey here at Carleton, that's the place to go. If there's something that comes up, if you require funding, if you require student services, anything that comes up, if you have a question, we're your first point of contact to say, okay, this is something that I'm wanting to know more about. Reach out to Graduate Studies, and we'll be very happy to help you in navigating your graduate student journey. So as David said, there are quite a few people lined up to give you some advice on your graduate training. I have been, I can't tell, I was a graduate student at Ottawa U, so don't hold it against me. Wish I had attended Carleton, but don't tell it to All right, so I think it's important to note that Carleton is really, as I said, a very supportive institution, and having been here for 14 years now, can't believe it's been that long since I've been at Carleton, but 14 years of being here, I have really seen how much Carleton really values its students and really supports students. We have within Fgpa, for instance, a team of dedicated staff specifically for you as graduate students. This is the place where, anything graduate student related, that's the place that you will get the answers regarding your graduate training. So I'm told that I'm supposed to tell you a bit about some of the services that we offer, but you'll have an opportunity to hear a bit more from others during the presentations on the resources and services that are available to you via the Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Affairs, but also institutional resources that are available for supporting graduate students. All right, so in addition to our resources and supports, we also host events, and I would encourage you to participate once your research is up and going. Participate in what we call the 3MT, or 3-minute thesis competition. We host that competition yearly, and what that does is gives you an opportunity to present your thesis in bite size, so within 3 minutes, and there are prizes and provincial competitions that come after that. So if you win the Carleton 3MT competition, you will go on to a provincial competition that you can showcase your research. We also have opportunities for you to nominate your impressive supervisors, and we've seen so many exceptional supervisors come forward that students have nominated because they feel that these people are going above and beyond the role of supervisor in really supporting and guiding students through their research. So feel free to nominate, and we host that. The Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Affairs hosts that event as well, so feel free to nominate your impressive supervisors as you go forward. So the best way for you to find out and really try and navigate, keep your hand on the pulse, I suppose, during your graduate training is to keep an eye out for our Fgpa graduate newsletter. It comes out every Thursday, so it gives you a sense as to the events that are happening specifically for graduate students or institutional events that are happening. It also gives you any stories, announcements, important dates and deadlines that you need to be aware of. So keep an eye on your email. You would have been signed up for the graduate newsletter just by virtue of being a student and having a graduate student account. You will receive the graduate newsletter, so keep an eye out for that on Thursday mornings. You can also visit us at the online, of course, at gradstudents.carleton.ca. But we're also located in 512 Torrey building. So on the 5th floor of Torrey, you go the left, I suppose, no, right? Is it right at the elevators there? So go up to the 5th floor and go right at the elevators, and you will see us. They're ready to serve you and really provide you with the support you need as you navigate your graduate studies. I think that's it from me. Welcome to Carleton once again, and thank you for joining us. And please feel free to even reach out to myself. I as a dean, I don't teach as much, and I really miss interactions with graduate students and students in general. So please feel free to reach out to me individually if you have questions of me about my experiences as well as my journey through graduate studies, for instance. If I can provide you with any advice or support throughout your journey, please feel free to reach out. Always happy to interact with students and provide you with a bit of encouragement. Thanks, everybody, and we'll call up our next speaker.
Okay, thank you so much, Benoit and Patrice, for welcoming our new students to both Carleton and Fgpa. And they both said a lot of really nice things about Carleton, and I can attest that they're all true. I was a student here for a long time, and I've worked here for a long time. It's a great, great place to be. Our next speaker is here to introduce you to your student union, the long-running Graduate Students Association at Carleton. So I'd like to welcome Milan Sangani, president of the GSA.
Welcome everyone at Graduate Students Community. Myself, Milan Sangani, and I am the president of Graduate Student Association. So exact 1 year before, I was at the same place you guys are sitting, but unfortunately due to COVID restrictions, it was unable to hold the in-person orientation. But I know the feeling entering at graduate school, and I know you all guys are excited joining here at Carleton University, and at Graduate Student Association, we want to make sure that your excitement remains the same throughout your graduation. So, yeah. Okay, it works. Yeah. So who are we? Basically, we all are students here at Graduate Student Association, and we want to make sure that every student at graduate level have that opportunity and resources that we are having at Carleton University. So we work for the students for their to provide their resources available throughout the campus and also the external at the external environment. So meet our representatives here. Myself, Milan Sangani, I'm the president here. We have Faith as Vice President Operation, Hande as a Vice President Academic, Evans as a Vice President Finance, and Navya as Vice President External. So we have the different communities for graduate student support. For example, we have academic caucus, we have grants and awards committee, we have the orientation committee, and all other committees are only for graduate students. And whenever you have any questions related to what resource you want to get in touch, as it is the department, at the different department, you have a problem with your registration process, you have any query related to what kind of events are going or what kind of on-campus activities as well as the outside campus activities that you students should get involved in. So you can always reach out to us. You can contact us, any of our representative, and they will lead you to the proper person and the proper student representative to get in touch with. So we provide various kind of services to our graduate students, including academic services, grants and awards. We organize cultural activities. We organize even the graduate parties as well. So it is not just for Graduate Student Association is not just for to provide the academic resources, but also for the fun activities. So whenever you guys are, tired to have, okay, I have completed my mid-semester submission, I have completed my thesis, and now I want to get some relax. So you can always reach out to us. We are organizing several events. We are also organizing the orientation events throughout this month. So we have our calendar for the total events. You guys can just follow us on our Instagram at GSA Carleton to get all the update related to all the activities. Also, we have on-campus recruitment process where you guys can volunteer or you guys can work as a part of Graduate Student Association to get some professional environment as well. So to know more about the opportunities available at Graduate Student Association, you guys can follow us on our social media so that you will have all the updates regularly for events and the recruitments as well. So these are some grants available from the Graduate Student Association side. So these grants are apart from the Carleton University's awards and scholarship. So it doesn't matter where you guys are come from, either you are a domestic student or international student, we always have something for you. So if you need help, anything related to your health issues, dental, emergency grants, or family leaves grants or something, you guys always can reach out to Graduate Student Association website, and you can check out which scholarship or which grant or which award is open right now, and you can apply directly through few steps. We have also the awards for domestic students, international students, and also indigenous students. So it doesn't matter, as I said earlier, where you are coming from, we always have something for you. And if you have any other questions, these are our contacts given. So I want you to take a snap of this contact information. It's going to be really helpful for you to provide all the resources to get in touch with the events, activities, on-campus recruitment as well. Our office is located at the 6th floor at University Center building, number 600. So whenever you guys are having free time, then you can always come there. And we have a nice lounge for graduate students when you can hang out, you can play some board games, you can meet your peers, and you can network with your fellow students. So this is from, that's all from my side. If you guys want to get in touch with, you can connect with us on our social media, on Instagram, Facebook, as well as on LinkedIn. Thank you very much for joining us for today.
Thank you so much, Milan. And I'm just going to put this up here for one more minute so you can make sure to get that down. I've always thought that the 6th floor of the Unicenter is a great, like, kind of secret place at Carleton where you can hang out and, kind of find some peace if you're looking for that, and some companionship. So please check it out. Next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Nduka Otiono, who is the director of the Institute of African Studies at Carleton, as well as an academic, a short story writer, and a poet. His research draws from his background as a journalist and cultural activist in Nigeria. So Dr. Otiono is here to offer some advice as a faculty member at Carleton on how to get the most from your graduate student experience.
It's afternoon, good afternoon, distinguished graduate students. It's definitely my pleasure to be here. And I would like to say that I wear many hats just besides being the director of the Institute of African Studies and being a faculty member at Carleton University. I am also the graduate supervisor, and I think the dean knows me very well because I've been around that for a while. So, and then besides, I like to emphasize my journey, my story, as an international student who came to Canada for PhD and as a mature international student. And I know some of you are a different spectrum, with regard to that and how I have navigated it. But I have a tendency to tell a lot of stories where you are associated with writers and poets. But I'm going to keep this story as short as possible, and then we can talk some more later on. So I'd like to say that I'm not on the 6th floor, and I'm not on the administrative building, but I'm in one of the oldest buildings at Carleton, and it's called Patterson Hall. And that's where the Institute of African Studies is located. I say that because one of the most frightening things for international students is Canadian winter. I arrived in Canada in August of some year, 2006. Yes, I can say that. And you know that August is still fall. No, that's summer. You see how my mind is working already. It's summer heading towards fall, but in my tropical skin, it was winter. So I was in this room where there was some kind of orientation going on. And initially, I thought my cold was because I was very close to some air conditioning vent. So the next day, I moved away from that section of the room. I went to some other place where I thought to be warm. How many minutes do I have? David was even listening to me. He didn't hear my question. Okay, that looks like I'm doing well, but I'm going to keep it short. So I moved to another part of the room, thinking it was going to be warmer there. And it didn't happen. So the next day, I tripled up, we're talking about layering up. So I layered up and I came to that room. I felt a little better. But then I began to make friends. As my introduction has shown, I've been a journalist, and journalists make friends, well, in minutes because you need your sources. So I realized that, well, I had better make the best of this place. So I began to make friends. Before the end of the third day, I had struck up friends with a guy who came from the United States. At that time, he was 67 in our class and had a very interesting story. He was a musician and plays the trombone. And so I think he keyed into my spirituality and my disposition and told me, he was a white guy, that his grandmother is Nigerian and African. I said, come on. And it turns out that long after we graduated, from that first class, because I was a musician, I love music a lot, and I mean like practically any kind of music, from the classics to hip hop to Niger jams and all of those contemporary African music. He and I, from that very first meeting in that room that was so cold and seemed hostile and so winter-like, emerged that recently we published a book on Bob Dylan, and he was the series editor for that series for Powergrave. I say this as an entry point into talking to you about grad school, and in some cases, coming outside of Ottawa, being strangers in some kind of land. That what we need is to make the best use of the environment, not to be intimidated by Canadian winter, by any winter at all, by sometimes a course outline. Because my primary discipline is literary studies. So I have a PhD in English and film studies. When you look at some of these course outlines, you're like, come on, what's this professor thinking about? How am I going to read all of this? I'm sure some of you are already thinking that way. What's this guy? What am I doing here? And you're like, you expect me to read 3 books a week for a class? And then in some cases, the professors will do like nearly 15 texts. Until you take your time to look at them, some of them may be 2-3 pages long. But, getting to master your program. So first of all, know your program. That's what I say. Know your courses. Know your instructor. Know your course mates. Fortunately, we've moved away from COVID. I used to be so fearful of students, master students who came under COVID and had virtual classes, graduated from Carleton. And I said to them, nothing could be harder, and you are in an airport and you don't meet anybody and say, hey, you're in my class. Because something happened this afternoon. One of the professors saw a student who had taken a course with him as they were just coming out, and they didn't recognize him. Not that professors recognize everybody, but what I mean is know your professors. It's very important. And in grad school, knowing your professors also means that you have a short window, if you're doing a master's program, to know that professor is going to write a reference letter for you. Success begins with embracing your program, embracing your professors, embracing your course mates as much as practicable. Second is time management. It's the cruelest of all of them because we just never master it. It's one of those things that are easier said than done, to use that cliche, and you know what I mean. A friend of mine describes it in a rather literary way. He says, time is that thing where everything that looks so ahead suddenly becomes behind. So you're like, I'm going to Carleton, and then suddenly you're graduating. And then in some cases, there are students who have been through a 4-year program, graduating and realizing that they never got engaged. They're asking for reference letters, but they were not part of the community. So they went through the university without the university going through them because it moved rather faster. Time management, is so critical and an important survival strategy for graduate students. The time will look short for 1 year, or it might even look too long for a PhD program. But trust me, sooner than later, you're asking for extensions for almost everything. And you realize, what have I been doing with all the time? So please pay attention to that as much as possible. Even if I say that, it doesn't mean that I have mastered time. But I try. And then unleash your creativity. We all are creative beings in the way we have been created, the way we've been made. Whether it's the hair we wear, or is it tops that we wear, or sometimes even the way we walk. The way we eat, the way we talk, the voices, the inflections, the drama of everyday life. We do have that creativity. Grad school sometimes makes us look like crazy people because you're always on the run, meeting deadlines, meeting deadlines, meeting deadlines. And then it doesn't leave us room for creativity. But we are the best versions of ourselves when we embrace ourselves and unleash our creativity. Whether you're in the sciences, in the humanities, take that moment to say, how do I approach this from a uniquely Nduka way? So whereas, it makes us conduct research, but the best research is the one that we enjoy. Otherwise, this becomes a chore. It becomes something that before long, you are avoiding classes, or specific classes, because we haven't connected creatively with that. I say that not just because I'm a poet, but because I realize that creativity is the best way that we can enjoy whatever we're doing. Find that lovable part of what you're doing, and then use that. Then finally, community. President Bacon had talked about a bit about about community. Well, that's the other thing, but fortunately, you're in Carleton University, not University of Ottawa, so you won't have to hold yourself so strongly about having to be bilingual. So kindly excuse me, I'm not there, but I really do appreciate the need to do that. So community. Building community and network is so critical for survival. You don't want to be isolated. One of the stories I wrote back in time was about a young man who loved being in crowds, but was always isolated, was lonely. I'm fascinated by the idea of how much we can be in the crowd and yet be lonely. I'm sure some of you know what I'm talking about. Like, you come to this classroom every day, and then at the end of the term, you realize that you really didn't have any friend in that class. So being part of the community is critical. Get engaged with the different things that are going on. GSA, there are lots of clubs. Carleton, and being African who is used to very boisterous streets, and I mean like boisterous streets. Our markets are not like, the markets where you go in from one shop to the other. The markets speak to you. They are in your face, people are haggling, and it comes alive. And life is alive all the time. So I began by saying that I'm not at, University Center or Tory Building, that I'm at Patterson. Because one of the ways we try to tell students, especially international students, and especially students, Black students, and BIPOC students, who are sometimes looking for that connection of somebody with whom they share a certain kind of cultural experience. And we say, what you do, if you're flying across Carleton, or you're just airborne, listen to where you're going to hear the loudest laughter. Ask to be dropped there. That's African studies. And I'm actually surprised to see that I'm wearing the loudest color in this room. It's part of the survival, the creative survival. When I arrived in Canada the first time, I was so taken aback by the dark colors people wear, especially during winter. And I think it was affecting me psychologically. And so when I had the opportunity of somebody coming from Nigeria, I said, bring all the loudest colors of clothes that you can get. And when I wore them, even if in Canada it was winter, in my soul and in my spirit, it was summer. Because my colors spoke to me. So be comfortable in what speaks to you. And community is one way we could do it. This is a campus where it's so easy to make friends and where you can get help easily. Utilize that. And then I will end by saying something that I so proudly said when I was undergraduate, and I like to repeat. That I was one of those students who knew where all the books in the library were and where all the pubs in town are. If you won't be that kind of student, at least find a middle ground. Find that thing that allows you to create that balance. Balance is so essential for survival. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nduka. That was wonderful, wonderful advice. I hope everyone will take that to heart. Really take the time that you're here to be part of the community, get to know your professors, engage creatively with each other and with your program at Carleton. We're going to shift gears a little bit now and introduce you to some student services that you'll absolutely want to know about as graduate students. So first, I'd like to speak with you. Just make sure this is working here. So I'd like to speak with you first, along with my colleague, Kareem Abouawad, about graduate professional development at Carleton. So as graduate students, you're of course going to be focused on your studies, but we'd like to remind you that your studies are part of a larger career narrative that you're building. And the way that we like to think about it is that you're all essentially knowledge workers in training, right? Developing skills in communication and research that you'll carry with you into the job market after graduation. And the more that you can recognize the skills that you're developing, the more time you can take to develop them even further, the better off you'll be. And we offer resources to help you do that. So everything that we offer for professional development at Fgpa can be found at carleton.ca/gradpd. We have a huge calendar of workshops on topics ranging from career planning and job hunting to a series on financial skills, plus lots of events, including those featuring interviews with alumni or people working in alternative academic positions. With all of the workshops that we offer on our calendar at carleton.ca/gradpd, all grad students are welcome, but in most cases, if you're working as a TA, when you attend these workshops, they can also count towards your paid pedagogical training hours, so that's a bonus. Other things that we offer, you can learn how to create an individual development plan with our CUIDP template so that you can approach your professional development in a mindful and methodical way. And we also offer a series of Establish Your Career Narrative workshops that can help you do this. As Patrice said, we hold a communications competition or competitions every year, like the 3-minute thesis or Grad Flicks. And these competitions can help you develop communication skills that are really becoming increasingly important in academia and beyond. And then finally, we have links to lots of resources that are available through Carleton or outside of Carleton for your professional development. There's much, much more, but to keep updated, we really, really encourage you to join our Grad PD mailing list. So if you go to our website, carleton.ca/gradpd, you'll see the button to join just below the title. And it's a great way for us to keep in touch with you about any opportunities that are coming up or events that are coming up. So please do that when you have a moment. And with that, I'd like to pass it to my colleague, Kareem Abouawad, who is going to tell you a little bit about a new program that we have started that we'd like to introduce.
Thank you, David. So I'm going to start by saying that the most important thing to take away from this brief presentation is the website. There's only so much we can talk about in this context, but there's a lot more on our website. So I would highly encourage you to visit our website at some point just to get a sense of all the resources that we offer. So David and I have a mandate, and basically our mandate is to, one, persuade you that it is really important to make professional development an integral part of your graduate school experience. Like, I can't overemphasize this. Really important to think of professional development as a lot more than simply taking workshops or, engaging in this event or in this activity. But rather to think of it as really an integral part. Even if it's not a requirement in the program itself, it's really an important aspect of your experience as a graduate student. So to make this possible, we, first of all, give you resources, right? These resources are structured in such a way as to allow you to seek support, one-on-one support, seek support that is unique to you, to your issues. So we offer, for example, writing support, we offer career planning, and these consultations are one-on-one. We're there to help you basically address the issues that are unique to you beyond workshops. And the second aspect is to give you kind of a structured experience where you can actually participate in a program where you're still taking workshops, you're still receiving one-on-one support, but you're also working towards something that's larger, and that's basically where this new program comes in. So we're launching this program right now in September, and basically it allows you to think, okay, so what am I interested in? What do I need? What am I interested in developing? We have 3 certificates on offer. One is professional writing, communication and engagement, and research management. You'll notice that these 3 categories are very important to graduate students. So we're starting with those certificates because they are so important to graduate school. So if you're interested in taking workshops, you can still do that. If you're interested in kind of taking on this more structured experience and then receiving a record that shows you've completed one of these certificates, go to our website and register for one of these certificates. So I'll stop here. Before I finish, would like to welcome you again to Carleton and reach out to us if you need any help. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Kareem. So next up, we have 2 people from the library. We have Jane Frye and Heather Mcdonald here to tell you a little bit about one of my favorite places on campus, Mccrodrim Library. Great place to hang out. All right, so I'll give you this.
Like this? Oh, good. Perfect. Let's see how to do that. Oh, good. Okay, so I'm here with my colleague Jane today to give you a very broad overview of the library. There's going to be a lot of information on these slides that's purposely done so that you can go back and look at them after, but we're not going to cover all the details, so don't be frightened by the busyness of these slides. So first of all, welcome everybody. We have one library at Carleton. It is the Mccrodrim Library. It is to the west of Dunton Tower, which is one of the iconic buildings that everybody will recognize around the quad. So that can give you your reference point. We have a lot besides just books. We have a lot of research support services. In fact, the research management stream of the trajectories is all based on research support from the library. So we offer a variety of research supports and services. I want to emphasize Interlibrary Loans. We are not that big a library. You will come across items that we don't have, so you really do need to do some interlibrary loans, and it's a free service, so I encourage everybody to use that. We also have physical presence so that you can come and talk to people about your research projects. We also have virtual presence on the hours listed there, but you can go to the website to get more information. So we have a lot of different types of support for you based on your particular subject area, your discipline that you're doing your research in. We have specialists in those areas who can help you get your research started with a variety of supports along the way. In the building, I want to point out that the 5th floor is really designed for graduate students. It is a silent study floor. For those of you who do not have a study space within your faculty, please avail yourself of the 5th floor of the library. We also have graduate study rooms on the 5th floor. There are several other floors in the library, but that is really designed for you specifically. We offer services around knowledge syntheses, things like scoping reviews, systematic reviews. So this is relatively new. A lot of students are now interested in these type of methodologies. Our team can support you with these, help you if you're not familiar with it, get you started. We also have tools to help this. Just for your information, scoping review is basically a transparent way of gathering and collecting all the information. Where you might do a literature review within a thesis, a scoping review is a standalone publication. So a lot of students are now interested in these kind of methodologies. This is a slide that's super busy. I'm just going to emphasize that as researchers, you are going to publish, you're going to create research outputs. You need to be aware of what your rights as an author are. There's people at the library who specialize this. Come see us about that. Open access publishing, this is a model of publication where you pay up front and then the end user can access the information freely. We also provide funding to help you with this because there is an initial cost, but you can recoup some of that cost. There is the Curie Fund. It's an amount of $750 and you can apply for that. So keep that in mind. Also, as researchers, you will probably want to have a researcher profile, tie in your research outputs, which have a unique identifier to your research profile. We have people in the library who can support you with all of that as well. Resources and training on all of the above. I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Jane.
Perfect. Okay, so I am Jane Frye, the Data Services Librarian. And once again, this information, David's putting the slides up on the website, so don't worry about jotting stuff down. Just remember you can go there to get anything you want. So I'm there, and my colleague Lacey Kane, we're there to help you get access to all types of data, whether it's microdata, aggregate data, GIS data, or government data. We also offer help and consultations with quantitative data, qualitative data, and GIS data. There's also a research data center at Carleton on the 1st floor of the library, and there you can get secure access to confidential StatCan microdata and administrative data sets. And for anyone who wants this, it's really very exciting news. It's a relatively new service that we have. Research data management, I'll be giving a webinar as part of the research management stream that was mentioned earlier, and it's really important that you know what's happening with that. It's basically about managing your data, and I will help you to figure out how to put together a data management plan. My colleague Lacey will help you look at data storage and repositories, why, where, and when you should be storing your data. And the last thing I want to mention to you is come and meet us at the library. Next Wednesday, September 14th, 1 to 3 p.m. on the second floor of the library, which is when you come in the front door. The first hour, we'll be having presentations from some specialists, and this will be a hybrid event, so if you can't make it in, that's okay. Just look on the front page of the library website and you'll find out the information to watch it virtually. And the second hour, there will be a whole bunch of us in the room, different specialists, librarians, and you can ask us any questions you want, and we'll give you the help. So if you have a question, that's the time to come and ask us, and there will be at least one prize. We're pushing to get more prizes for students that are going to be there because we really want you coming out. So thank you. Please come to the library. We are more than books.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jane and Heather. And just to reiterate what they said, really make the library your friend. It can be so crucial, especially when you get to writing major research papers or theses or dissertations. There's someone at the library who can help you with almost anything you're trying to do, and they're there to help you. So next, we'd just like to talk, shift gears again, and talk about something that we take very seriously at Carleton, which is mental wellness. It's no secret that, in grad school, it's a great experience in many ways. It can also be stressful or isolating or intimidating as well. So we'd like to bring up Magda Georgescu, who's a registered social worker and graduate student counselor, who's here to talk about health and counseling services and mental health at Carleton.
Yes, you can do that. Yeah. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Carleton. I really hope you will have a happy experience with us, but if you don't, and if you find yourself struggling, come to see us. So my name is Magda Georgescu. I am the graduate student counselor with Health and Counseling Services, and we provide counseling for undergrad and graduate students. The position of graduate student counselor was started 2 years ago, and GSA worked really hard to provide the counseling services with a specific counselor for graduate students. So why to come to see us? Because I know today you are very excited to start. You can be excited and anxious, maybe more excited than anxious, but there will be times in your journey when you will be more anxious than excited. And if that happens, come and see us. So there is a common understanding that graduate school is pleasant, but also very stressful. And a lot of research has shown that graduate students are at heightened risk for mental health disorders compared with undergrad populations, and similarly educated working professionals. There are reasons for that. There are many stressful aspects of being a graduate student. The most important ones: balancing high academic workloads, financial difficulties, balancing work with personal and family roles, and also managing supervisory relationships are very stressful. Another very common experience, if not universal, as a graduate student is what we call imposter syndrome. So at some point, you will feel like an imposter. So very briefly defined, imposter syndrome is the belief that others have an inflated view of your abilities or skills, also a fear of being exposed as a fraud, and a tendency to attribute success to external factors such as luck, hard work, or benevolence of others. So how would you know that you experience imposter syndrome? You will have feelings of self-doubt and an inability to take credit for personal accomplishments. You may find that you tend to seek external validation. You are very sensitive to criticism, ruminate a lot about a less than perfect performance, and you have a constant focus on your shortcomings. So before you come to see a counselor, you can help yourself by reminding yourself that people that you usually compare yourself with compare themselves with others. So also you can remind yourself that your thoughts are not facts, and there is more right with you than wrong with you. And try to focus on progress rather than perfection. Okay, so just very few ideas about how to cope in graduate school. Be aware that emotional difficulties may arise, so it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of time. Remind yourself that you are not alone, even if it feels like that. Take notes of your accomplishments. Remind yourself that you have skills, strengths, and talents, and that's exactly why you were admitted to your program. Try to focus on what you can influence. So when you feel like the entire world is shaking and you lost control, try to remember yourself that there are some aspects that you still have control over, how you sleep, how you eat, exercise, try to maintain social contact with other people. And also very intentionally collect positive experiences in order to find a balance between have to do's and want to do's. And also seek support. So some signs to watch for when it's time to seek support: lacking energy or feeling tired, feeling exhausted all the time, experiencing brain fog, find it hard to think clearly, finding hard to concentrate, feeling restless and agitated, feeling tearful, wanting to cry all the time, not wanting to talk to or be with people, not wanting to do things you usually enjoy, using alcohol or drugs to cope with your feelings, and feeling overwhelmed by everyday tasks. So if any of these you experience, maybe it's time to come find us and talk to somebody. So over the time, graduate students reported some benefits of accessing counseling, and some of those are having a safe space to talk about their emotional issues, having their experiences validated, finding support to maintain a balance in their busy lives with the recognition of their multiple roles, learning to identify signs of anxiety, depression, burnout, relational stress, learning to contextualize their unique experience and relate to their situation from a different perspective, and learning new skills to manage emotional distress. So how to access counseling? You have to call our clinic and to talk to one of our patient care coordinators to set you up a file and book an appointment. Our intake counselor will call you back within 24 to 48 hours, and will have a brief conversation with you over the phone, during which they will determine which counselor they will book you with. We have a couple of specialized roles at the clinic. We have a racialized student counselor, so if you identify yourself as racialized and you want to talk to our racialized counselor, you can do so. I am the graduate student counselor. We also have a crisis counselor, as well as a sexual assault and trauma counselor. After the intake, you will have a first session with your provider, and after the first session, you will book all the follow-up sessions with your provider. I also want to mention that our services are confidential, and we are an island of confidentiality on campus, even though we cooperate and work very closely with other departments and services. There is never disclosure about students accessing our services. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Magda. And I should say that we are scheduling soon an Impostor Syndrome workshop with Magda. Because, you know, it's one of these things when you go to your classes for the first time, you see everyone there, you think that everyone else has it together except you, and you're the only one that feels intimidated. But no, behind the appearances, you can be assured that most other people are feeling that way too. So please, you know, if you have that feeling of imposter syndrome at any time, I encourage you to check out that workshop. Finally, I'd like to introduce Taylor Meissner, who's an MSW, an RSW, and a Disabilities Coordinator and Learning Strategist with Paul Menton Center. The Paul Menton Center works in partnership with the Carleton community to increase accessibility and integration of students into all aspects of university life. They're an essential service at Carleton. So come on up, Taylor. There you are.
Okay, great. And if you wouldn't mind just queuing up my video if I can't do it with that, that'd be great. All right. Hi, everybody. It's so great to see you. It's so great to welcome you on campus. I've been here all summer, and the energy is just buzzing now that you're here. So give yourself a round of applause for being here. Amazing. So it's been a rough past 2.5 years. We've noticed a lot of changes through the PMC, but we are here to support you. So the Paul Menton Center for Students with Disabilities provides academic accommodations and learning supports for students who self-identify as having a disability and have documentation for that. About 1 in 5 of our Carleton students will register with the PMC at some point, either for temporary or ongoing accommodations. So we have a brand new video we put together. I'll start by showing you that and then zero in on some more specific questions you might have.
For Students with Disabilities, PMC. Whether you are an undergraduate, graduate, or a special student taking courses to qualify for admission to a degree program, we are here to support you by providing academic accommodations and support services that are tailored to your individual disability-related needs. PMC offers a wide range of services for students with disabilities, including test and exam accommodations, classroom accommodations, learning strategy support, disability counseling, support groups, transition support, and much more. Students with both visible and non-visible disabilities qualify for services from PMC. These disabilities can be permanent, chronic, or temporary. If you are struggling in your studies and feeling unsure whether you are dealing with an undiagnosed disability, please contact us to schedule an information meeting with a Pmc Coordinator to discuss your situation. Registering with PMC is easy. Please contact us to initiate an intake appointment. You can register with PMC at any point during your studies, but we recommend connecting with us as early as possible. To register, you will need to provide documentation from a regulated medical practitioner that confirms the disability and relevant functional impairments experienced in the university setting. All documentation and personal disability information you share with PMC are kept confidential, and registration with PMC will not appear on your transcript or any university official records. During your intake appointment, you will meet with a PMC Coordinator who will be assigned to you during your academic studies. The PMC Coordinator will review your documentation and discuss appropriate accommodations and support services that best meet your disability-related needs and academic requirements. If your disability needs change any time during your studies, your accommodations and supports can be adjusted by your PMC Coordinator. After completing the registration process with PMC, it is your responsibility to request accommodations for each course at the beginning of the term and manage your accommodations throughout the term. If you are ready to register or have any questions, email us at pmc@carleton.ca or give us a call at 613-520-6608. We look forward to supporting you in every step of your academic journey at Carleton.
Beautiful. So here at the PMC, we take accessibility very seriously. We've been called by some as the gold standard of accessibility, and many students see Carleton University as a university that they choose specifically because of our accessibility supports, which include the underground tunnel systems, which can be really helpful not only for avoiding outside in the winter, but for getting to classes in a way that's accessible. So to register with the PMC, that's something that you want to do earlier rather than later in the semester, just so that you can be confident that your disability-related supports and accommodations are set up before your classes or at the beginning of your classes. So what you'll want to do is obtain disability documentation. We have forms on our website, or if you are diagnosed with a learning disability, we'll ask for a full psychoeducational assessment completed by a psychologist. You'll contact our front desk at pmc@carleton.ca to schedule an appointment. And then from there, you'll be able to meet with a disabilities coordinator like myself to discuss your academic accommodations. So I've been a disabilities coordinator and a learning strategist, and my role is to help students set up their academic supports. At a graduate level, this also involves facilitating conversation, perhaps between you and your supervisors, to discuss things like flexibility and how disability-related barriers can impact you in your studies. What are academic accommodations? So these are the supports and services provided to help you access the curriculum and demonstrate your learning. They're intended to reduce disability-related barriers and level the playing field so that everyone can participate equitably. They're not modifications to the fundamental skills needed as part of your program, and they're not going to guarantee success, but they are there to reduce the barriers and give you the skills and the knowledge and the supports to succeed. They're not intended to make things easier compared to your peers either. So the academic accommodations, that might look like extra time on tests as an example. That's something that we can assist with through your disabilities coordinator. We also have other services available to you to help you gain different skills or receive support in a disability-related context. So we have groups. We have groups for students with ADHD, anxiety. We have a grad student writing group if you want some accountability buddies and a chance to do writing in a safe space for you. And we also have a learning strategies workshop series with a number of different topics. So if you're interested in learning more about procrastination, if you're interested in managing group work, if you're interested in learning about academic survival when your mental health is really struggling, that would be a great opportunity for you to sign up and connect with other students. We also have other services through the PMC. So we offer one-to-one learning strategy sessions, assistive technology sessions, disability-related counseling, mentorship, an employment program, and we have services as well to help with your accommodations, such as note-taking services or tutoring. If you have any questions or you'd like to register as a student with the PMC, feel free to email pmc@carleton.ca. Okay, thank you so much.
And just before we end, we have just one more person who'd like to talk just a little bit about GSA events here that are coming up. So please go ahead.
Hi guys, just a quick announcement. You may be wondering if there are any social events happening on campus for graduate students. The GSA has a Welcome Week's activities and events that have been going on since the 1st of September. So please follow us on Instagram at GSA Carleton. You will see all the events. We had a grad kickoff party. It was very fun and amazing. Today we're having a 2S LGBTQAI event for our trans community, and tomorrow we're having a grad info fair at the Tory Quad. So there's many other events that are planned out for you that are social events, more social than academic or workshop-wise. So please follow us at GSA Carleton so that you can take advantage of that. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you so much to all of our speakers, and thank you for coming to Graduate Orientation. I know you've absorbed a lot of information here, a lot of which you're going to forget, but all of the slides are available online on the orientation webpage. You can just download them and get all the sort of hard info again about the services that we offer. And also, please contact us anytime. we're here to help you through your grad school journey. So welcome to Carleton and have a great year.